All right, Rugby League Coach Podcast, episode number 1. Myself, Taylor Brown, will be, interviewing, picking the brain of Lee Addison throughout these episodes. We've got quite a few things lined up that we're going to talk about. Lee's already outlined in that social media post how we're going to format this. We're going to have a player theme and a coach theme. This week will be a player theme. So Lee, talk to us, mate. What is the player theme for today?
I've actually got a couple. I want to talk about the New Zealand Warriors player who's decided that he wants to give up rugby league for a while at the end of this season. I think that's quite a unique scenario. There's a few issues I want to talk in and around that, and I think that's really important for kids to understand, for parents to understand. And then the other one I want to talk about, the theme I want to talk about is resilience and how to get to the levels you want to get to. And there's a very special player that I'm gonna talk about, and I bet you can maybe guess who that is.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that. So let's steer where you first wanted to have that conversation. Obviously, massive shockwaves throughout the rugby league world this week with Chanel Harris-Tavita signalling that he needs a break from rugby league. He obviously had an extension and probably a few clubs chasing him. He's a pretty handy player. Yeah. But he wanted some time away. Probably speaks a lot to the pressures of the players of today, doesn't it?
Anybody who's followed me on social media for a while, Taylor, knows that I'm quite boisterous and critical of some of the pressures that players get under. I do believe that our NRL players are at breaking point. I do believe there's far too many injuries. In Super League, there's also a lot of injuries, but I think that's because they're underprepared because they have a longer season. They don't have enough time off to repair the bodies to go again. They don't have a proper pre-season compared to what they have in Australia, where I think they possibly do too much. This isn't to say that Tavita Harris is retiring because it's too hard, or what's been attributed to him is that he's not enjoying it anymore. So I don't know the guy. I don't know if you know the guy. Taylor, do you know the guy?
No, never.
All right. But rugby league is an enjoyable pastime, isn't it? When you first play junior rugby league, you either like the game or you don't.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I know that when I first played it, when I was 11, I hated it. It was a muddy, rainy day in the middle of Salford. I got tackled and my face got put into mud. I may have soiled my trousers in more way than one. I can't remember. And I remember thinking, I don't like that. I want to be a goalkeeper in soccer instead, football. And it was only a few years later I got into rugby league. And so enjoyment is the central tenet of it, isn't it? And I guess the first time that I played rugby league and actually didn't enjoy it, even though we were winning and I was playing okay, was when I played some rep stuff, Taylor. So when I played sort of England amateurs or England students or something like that. And the time I started to not enjoy it was when I might be the right second rower and I can only stay on the right. And that meant really majority of my tackles would be on a certain shoulder, maybe on the right shoulder if we were up and out defence, or I'd be mostly palming people in my left. I felt I could see things on the left side of the field. The other thing too, I'll be completely honest with you, I didn't particularly enjoy training. People could probably tell when they look at me. I'd rather do what I'm doing now, which is sitting on the sofa, reading a book, watching something that educates me, studying the sport, studying coaching methods, whatever it may be. Look, there's the bookshelf behind me. That's my default thing. And I do know that apparently Tavita Harris wants to travel and write. I guess we're totally in the speculation space now. I hate that term, space, but I'm going to use it. Aren't we? I mean, there would have been times when you played, Taylor, when you didn't quite enjoy it. You probably didn't enjoy it under me in the first year.
No, I didn't. Well, it was different because I was in year 12, so in year 11, sorry. So I had school football, then I had football at club level. So as much as I didn't enjoy school football, it was a goal I was chasing. I was achieving something. Yeah. And at home football, things were going okay. We were in a good spot in the competition. We made the grand final that year. We didn't win it, but we made the grand final. I was captain of that side. So there were things happening there. I was in the Bulldogs development at that stage. So there were things happening. So I wouldn't say I didn't enjoy football as a whole. When you get to the levels of the NRL and things like that, there's a lot of stopping. Like you can't do a lot of things you enjoy. Once you play NRL, you're not allowed to go down to the park and play touch football with your mates.
No.
Because of the load on your body. The clubs find out about it. You roll an ankle playing touch with your mates. It'd be a massive drama. It's a blow-up. And so a lot of the things that you did for fun, like kick a footy and all that stuff when you were sort of growing up, that's gone now. And it's completely replaced by the professional setting.
Yeah.
In saying that, you still get your time around your mates in the dressing sheds. You still get your time around. But there's a lot of replacement there. The times that I didn't enjoy football was when I was in a bit of a fringe spot where I felt like I was playing good enough football to be in that squad. Well, I only played at the Dolphins for a long time. So there were times when I needed to go away and work on some things, and I'd do that, and then I'd come back. And there were times there where I didn't really enjoy the processes of it. I still gritted down and bit down on my mouth guard and did it. But there's certainly times in that setting, I can only imagine with the media scrutiny and the stuff that comes along with NRL that would be a lot worse. I
guess when I'm talking about this issue, I'm thinking about the people who are listening, and I'm thinking about mums and dads taking their kids to training or games, and the kids listening in the car or wherever they may be. And I guess I want everybody to hear and know that this isn't an uncommon thing.
No.
There's a lot of players who just keep playing out of necessity. I know one very, very high-profile rugby league player in England. Played for his country, was almost first pick all the time, won premierships with his club, achieved it all, but he didn't like rugby league.
Yeah.
But he was good at it. His crime was that he was good at it. And he I wouldn't say he had nothing else in his life because he was an intelligent guy, but the best thing he could do at the time was play rugby league, and it was also good recompense. It was good money in his pocket for him and his family. And I dare say there were times when he just wanted to give it up. I know NRL players that come home from training and go straight to bed because they are absolutely knackered. And their bodies are going through it. I mean, if you think of the pressures, particularly of an NRL player and a Super League player, but then underneath where you might have a job as well, everything you eat, every sleep that you have becomes analysed. Every time you have a pee, you want to know it's the right colour. If it's not the right colour, you want to try and make it the right colour by drinking more water. You're worried about everything you put in your mouth. That can be quite stressful. Well, and there's a lot of things you can't control as well.
So in my last couple of years of football at that Host Plus Cup level, we had an app on our phones. Now, this app, I would wake up in the morning and I'd have 10 questions I'd have to answer. How I slept, why I slept like that, am I feeling refreshed, am I sore, where am I sore? That had to be filled out every single morning.
Yeah.
Then it had to be done. And then I'd go to training and I'd have to weigh in, blah, blah, blah. Then after training...
You'd have worried about that bit.
Yeah, I did worry about that. There were times where, say, for example, we played on a Sunday. And after we played, it was an afternoon game. I'd just go and get, it'd be late. Me and the missus would get Macca's or KFC or something on the way home that wasn't good. And then I'd wake up the next morning and I'd have to go to training that night and I'd be heavy. I know I'd be heavy. So I'd just drink water and nothing else. I'd just have water all day just to try and make sure my weight was in a good spot. Because if I was not in a good spot, mentally I was like, well, that's going to be like, he's not ticking all the boxes. He's not...
Got to get picked this week, yeah.
I'm not going to get picked. And the thing gets released on a Tuesday, mate. Like, you hang out every Tuesday to check it. And, if you look back at it and you go, well, mate, if you're not worried, if you're not having Macca's or KFC, you're not worried about it. But it was kind of good to have that one night a week where I could, because I've got the body shape where every other night I had to be disciplined. Everything else I put in my body, I had to be disciplined. So I look forward to that one. So it was my reward for getting
fat day.
Well, it wasn't even a fat day. It was a fat meal. It was just one. It was just one meal where I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to cook. I didn't have to clean because I could essentially,
How many fat meals and days do you have now in retirement?
I only have every day ending with a Y.
Yeah.
But that sort of that mental pressure hurts, and the added pressure of the that level, Host Plus Cup level, is that if you don't play the next week, 90% of the contracts are match payment based. So if you don't play, you're not getting paid.
Same in A grade too.
You're not getting paid.
Same in A grade in Australia, in so many parts of Australia. Same in the Championship and Championship 1 in England. So, yeah, it is a real pressure. And you also get taken away from some of the things of your mates. I mean, Harris Tavita, or is it Tavita Harris or Harris? I get mixed up.
I think it's Tavita Harris, yeah.
He's only 23, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I know when I was 23, I enjoyed a lot of life. And it didn't involve rugby league. So he's probably missed out on a load of things. And I guess, to wrap this up, Taylor, like, I guess what I'm saying to everybody listening and watching, because this one's on TV, YouTube TV thing, there's more to life than rugby league, number one. Number two, there's a difference between an obsession and really wanting something. Obsessions are unhealthy. Really wanting something is a bit healthier. And you also prepare that it might not always go the way you want to. If you're obsessed with something, that can obviously have a real detrimental effect on you if you don't do something. Chanel was talking about how he felt a relief every time he was talking to people, telling them that he wasn't playing next year, a weight off his shoulders, and that he'd been lying to people. And I guess the most important person that you have to please is the man or the woman in the glass. Is that old poem by Dale Wimbrow, the man in the glass? And I guess in these PC times, we can't just limit it to the man in the glass. It has to be woman and everything else. But the message is still there. When you get what you want in the struggle for self, and the Lord makes you, and the world makes you king for the day, go back to the mirror and look at yourself and see what that man has to say. I won't go through the whole poem, but basically it means you can't lie to yourself. And I guess one of the things I've seen in my coaching career is I've seen parents who are living vicariously through their children. So common. And sometimes the kid is just too scared to say, I don't enjoy playing, or I'm not that bothered about playing professional. And that's something I have often done in my coaching. I've talked to kids and say, do you really want to play professional? Do you really want to go to the top? And some of them actually say no, because it is a really harsh thing. I mean, if I was to have played NRL and not had as much beer as I've had in the last 2 decades, then I'm not sure my life would be quite enjoyable. I don't know. So,
yeah, and the thing is as well, you mentioned before about obsession or really wanting something, having a goal. A good key marker to know if it's just an obsession or are you ticking goals? Are you ticking boxes in other parts of your life as well?
Yeah.
Like, what are you just purely, I just want to be an NRL player. That's my only focus, my only goal.
Yeah.
There are other things that you're kicking as well. Like, you can have healthy obsessions. You can have a healthy obsession. You want to do that.
Yeah.
But what else are you doing in your life? Are you having you need to have that whole, a lot of players find they're playing their best footy when they switch and do something else. I know for me, I had a bit of a year in 2018 where I'd broken my foot, I'd done a few things, and I basically sat on the sidelines all year and watched my teammates win a comp, and in a side that I've been playing in for 4 years, but because of my injuries, I didn't get on the paddock that year.
Yeah.
And that off season, I got married in October. That kind of hurt. Instead of going and doing
getting married hurt.
No, like. The year hurt. The year hurt. So
I've just found the excerpt for social media. Naomi will be holding you to ransom.
So when I come back to football, I said I need to do extras because I've had this year off.
Yeah.
Instead of going and doing like a run session or going and doing passing or something, I kind of needed a little bit of break. So I went and joined up at my local jiu-jitsu training place, and I just did jiu-jitsu on my off day. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I went and do jiu-jitsu. Now, there's a bit of wrestling involved and there's, all that sort of stuff. But I mentally got away from football and I was chasing something else. And it helped a lot because I'd go to football, I'd be keen on that. I'd go to jiu-jitsu and be keen on jiu-jitsu. But like, I just had other things going on. And that's what you need. You need to have, if you get a bit sick of it, you need to diversify and have something else going on. And I fell back in love after that with football. Come March, I was playing football. I was keen again. So
yeah, key terms. Well, mate, at this sort of halfway juncture of the podcast, we could probably shout out some of the stuff that we're doing. I mean, you and I have been brought together again, haven't we? After several years on Queensland League scene. Can you inform everyone what the brains are behind that? What the thoughts are around that? And
well, you can probably see the big banner behind me, Queensland League scene. So I guess. Upon retirement, I got into the commentating space through a guy named John Devine, long-time commentator in the Brisbane Rugby League.
Yeah.
Host plus cup level as well. And he got me some commentating. And then one day we sort of looked at each other and said, mate, we've got such good banter. We should have a show and these players need a show. They need to have their skills and their everything on showcase. So we decided to create Queensland League Scene, I guess. And you and I got reconnected through your show, through a YouTube segment you've done with myself, Corey White, and Billy Kitt, and it just sort of made sense, and we connected from there, and we've been into it. Queensland League Scene's been had about 10 episodes now. Make sure you follow us on socials and all that sort of stuff. You'll see it all Lee, and it's been great, and it's I guess it's brought us back together, which has been pretty fun. Something that
how emotional.
How emotional.
Yes, that we've been brought back together.
I'll tell you what. It's really funny. It's funny how you look at times and people, when you look back in your life, that had your best interest at heart. And I hated you for a good 12 months during schooling.
Yes.
As my coach. And there was some things you did during that time where I look back now, and I look back pretty much the day I finished. I remember shaking your hand the day I finished school, and you pretty much said to me everything we did and everything we did together was all just so you'd be a better person.
That's right. Geez, your phone's going nuts there, mate.
No, phone's going off. It's work. But so it's great that we're back together. And what about you, Leroy? What's going on in the life and times of Lee Addison?
Well, 2022 is the first year I've not coached week to week since 1999. And I'm only 43, so that gives you some kind of idea of how big a thing that is. So basically half my life I've been coaching. Yeah. And I have got a test coaching job this year. All will be revealed. I might even use this place or Queensland League Scene to announce that. I'll see. And obviously I started a business a few years ago, rugbyleaguecoach.com.au. I saw that there was a lack of resource for coaches, something I was really frustrated about. Lack of resource for coaches that wanted to study, somebody like myself. I showed you the bookshelf. There's basically one of the bookshelves is completely devoted to coaching and coaches. Yeah. And I can honestly tell you, mate, about 1% of my books are rugby league coaching books. So I wanted to do something that was a resource for coaches. So that's rugbyleaguecoach.com.au. It's also a resource for players. And I guess this is why this podcast is 1 week about players, 1 week about coaches. If you're a player, and we've already alluded to this, so I enjoyed playing under coaches that didn't structure me much. A coach doesn't structure you much because either A, they're so smart that they know not to structure you. And trust me, I wasn't a genius footballer. I probably needed some structure in my life. You know, it's not like I was Jonathan Thurston just being able to conjure something up around the field.
Yeah.
So a coach either does that, A, because they've seen the genius in you and they want to let you explore, or B, they're not competent enough to put structure on you. Right. And I enjoyed coaches that didn't give me too much structure. And it's so ironic that the coach I hated most and the coach I think hated me the most is now my coaching mentor, and I call him my Uncle Vinny. And we're super close. He's almost like a family member. So you learn these things as you get older. And I guess that difference between having the local coaches, the parents and the volunteers, some of them are competent, some of them aren't, and they know they aren't, and they want to learn. And then you go to elite levels. Well, if you want that elite coaching, you can't just choose to get that elite coaching, or you never used to be able to anyway. You've got to earn the right.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do, mate, was give people the opportunity to choose elite coaching. So to get a level 3 coach like me, who's coached in all different places I've coached, you needed to get to a certain level. You needed to get to one of the elite schools in Sydney and therefore Australia, one of the biggest rugby league schools in the world, if not the biggest. There's a lot of sliding doors moments that need to go into that, right? And if you hadn't have made the first grade at St. Gregory's, if you weren't good enough to make the first grade at St. Gregory's, there's every chance you wouldn't have made any team at the Bulldogs or the Dragons or the Dolphins like you did, because these things sort of line up, don't they? Basically. Do, yeah. And so what I've given over the last few years is people the opportunity to get coached by elite coaches. And it's not just me. I've got a team around me, in both online and in person. But the difference is it's in a blanket of support. So again, one of the reasons we talked about the Warriors player is that, and you brought it up, you know, if a kid comes to my clinic and he's overweight, I'll just help him lose some weight.
Yeah.
If he wants to, or there's also girls on the program too. Like, if they want to lose some weight, and that's the key thing. If they want to, not because they can't come on the clinic. If they, that's the difference. So it's elite coaching and a blanket of support. And you know what, Taylor? I am loving it. I'm coaching more players than I've ever coached. I've coached over 500 in person in 2022 alone. I've coached even more online. I'm coaching coaches. I've had coaching seminars. I've been both sides of the world already this year. So, yeah, I'm really happy. I've got a big roadshow of clinics coming up. Just announced that I'll be in Bundaberg, Jimboomba, Logan, Melbourne twice, Sanford in North Brisbane. I'm going to announce some Sydney venues soon. I'm hoping to be not too far away from where we used to butt heads, Taylor. And I've also got something going on in another country somewhere that I'll announce soon. So all that's heating up too. And I also do webinars for coaches as well. So if people are clued up enough to get onto YouTube, then they should take me up on a webinar as well. And I try and keep the prices nice and low. I keep the prices nice and low because I want it to be affordable. I don't want to exclude anyone. So it's not like buying a car. The cheaper car you buy, the worse your car you get. I've kept my prices low on purpose. Hopefully, anyway, that's how people see it. Yeah. So that's what I'm up to. And then obviously loving the Queensland League scene. I'm loving having a look at all the Queensland teams every week and the Host Plus Cup, as they call it now. For those who don't know what that is the Queensland Cup that we all know and love. And I guess it's interesting to see all the different coaching machinations. After one of the videos, as you know, after one of the recordings, I was contacted by a Queensland Cup club to consult about their attack and defence. I was contacted by another very recently because they wanted to see what I'd said and hopefully act on it. So, hopefully that's making some inroads there. Can I also do a shout out for someone too, Taylor? And you can chime in. One of my clinics in England, in St Helens, at a club called Portico Vine. When I was there only a few weeks back, the clubhouse was it looked about 50% complete. Well, they've opened it this weekend just gone. So hopefully, Taylor, you'll join me in wishing them all luck and all the committee there. They're a great set of people. Kieran Lacey was the person that got me in that club. He's a great old mate of mine. And we held the Aim Higher, the first ever Aim Higher in the UK there. And we're doing it again in October as well during the half term. So, yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Good luck to them. And it's good to have that support all across the globe. And I'll tell you what, Lee, one thing you mentioned there about what you're up to these days, and it's probably the thing that excites me the most about what you're doing when I first heard about what you're doing. I love stories about kids or players that never played under 16s, that never played under 18s, that just something happened and they found themselves in a Brisbane Rugby League comp and then into a Queensland Cup team and then into the NRL.
Yeah. And
those kids, those players don't have the access. And I was sort of lucky that, I didn't make the school side, but then I still was allowed to stick around and train with the side and learn off, some pretty handy front rowers like Matt Grote and things like that.
Yeah.
So I got very lucky in that sense, and I had a really good club coach that was a mentor to me as well.
Yeah.
Dan Wagstaff. So I got really lucky in that sense, but that doesn't happen to everyone. And these kids now at any age have access to that elite level coaching. And I don't know about you, but I think one of your goals and one thing I'd love to see is someone that didn't necessarily get picked in those sides, who got a few tips from you, a bit of a push in the right direction, found themselves suddenly in a rep team, and then kicked on. I think we're. These things never just happen overnight, right? No.
So, there are some green shoots starting to pop through already.
Yeah.
So I've been doing the Aim Higher clinic for about exactly a year and 4 months. I was part-time and still a teacher for 9 months of that. I guess, I've got a history of producing in conjunction with other coaches and developers too, but I've got a history of producing NRL players through the school system. So I guess it's a new system that I'm formulating. And I guess the green shoots are popping up. And I guess what I think you will be talking about in the next few years are people from different jurisdictions, mate, because I've seen some stats recently that basically NRL players in Australia only get picked from about 4% of the population. This is despite the fact that the population of Australia has grown exponentially over the last few decades. And that's because of the resources in the game. And I guess what I'm trying to do is take my coaching wherever it can go. I've been talking to different people in so many parts of Queensland, so many parts of New South Wales, so many parts of Victoria, Western Australia. The list goes on. Places that you wouldn't even think of, but also around the world, not just Britain. Countries that you don't even think would play rugby league. I've held Zoom meetings in so many African countries and so many Asian countries, and if they get what they need to tip it on to the next level, then yes, there'll be something that pops up, and then it'll just be a tsunami, because I truly believe in what I'm doing, like I think you do, and I truly believe that in all these far-flung places of the world, there will be players who just don't know where to start to achieve what they want to do in the game. There will be people in the main cities, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra, Yorkshire, Lancashire, Auckland, Wellington. There'll be people there who don't know what to do, so never mind, or who aren't getting noticed. So, it's really exciting times in that sense, Taylor, really exciting times. And I guess my next message, and part of our podcast structure, is that we're going to have sort of two periods to it. And this is now like the second half, if you like. I made a comment to you, Taylor, and this, we're not going to be talking about Lee Addison and Taylor Brown. We'll just get this out of the way. This the first one, I'm going to talk about you and your career and put it in some perspective, right? But after that, we'll forget about you and we'll talk about other people, and we'll forget about me and we'll talk about other people, right? But I made a comment to you, eating a kebab or whatever we were eating. I said, you need to be really proud of your career. Like, you need to be really content. And I guess my next message to everyone listening is adjust the level of expectation. You don't have to make the NRL or Super League to be classed as having a great career. You can have a great career playing for Thornhill or Fatto Heath in England and having great respect in your community, great respect around the amateur levels of the country. You can have great respect in a town or a city in Australia playing A grade. You can also have a fair bit in your skyrocket if you play for the right club. And you can be going to work, earning a decent wage, and then doing something that you love, and that's that key word, love, in the evenings and in the afternoons.
Yeah.
And getting some because we all want to feel relevant, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
So back to you. You haven't set foot on an NRL field yet.
Yeah. No.
I don't think you're going to. However, you have played at two NRL clubs.
Yep.
And you've played in what is commonly known as the third best competition in the world. Third best meaning NRL is the best, Super League is the second best, the Queensland Cup, the Host Plus Cup, the third best in the world. How can that be determined a failure? It can't be. And bear in mind the player I saw at 17 years of age, I firmly believe what you achieved was amazing. And I guess what I'd like you to talk about now is not about the process of getting there, but about the process looking back and how it fits into your life and how you're getting out of bed every day physically, but also mentally, in the sense that, are you content? Do you have regrets, or are you content and that you've achieved everything that you could?
I don't have any regrets about any of the decisions I made. But that's different. Could I have, if I had different goals in mind, if I had the knowledge I had now, would I have made different decisions? Knowing the end result, no, I wouldn't. Because I moved up to Redcliffe as soon as my 20s contract was over. Now, I had a contract on offer for New South Wales Cup for the Steelers, for the side. But I wanted to move out of my comfort zone. I wanted to get away. I think that helped shape me as a part to be who I am now. Yeah. Moving away, literally packing up the car on my 20th birthday and moving up here. So I think that moment was a really big moment for me. Well, it is a big moment because I met my wife up here and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. I think there were several times throughout my career up here where I had contracts on offer from several other Queensland Cup clubs and an opportunity to go back down to New South Wales Cup as well. Yeah. To move back. But I might have played more game time or all that sort of stuff, but I was a part of a winning culture at the Dolphins for so long, and I loved the club. I loved everything about it, and I'm settled to where I'm living. So in hindsight, I don't have, maybe if I thought if I was affiliated with that NRL club and I played good, maybe I'd get picked up. That's always a possibility, maybe, but I was so happy and content with where I am, and I still am with all that sort of stuff. I got opportunities through the club for a good career. So I took that by both hands. And now that's landed me in a really good role now, and a good career now, away from football. So I just think I have zero regrets. I have zero, what if I did this, what if I did that? And I'm really, like, I got to play, I played in Papua New Guinea, mate. A club flew me away, and I played in Papua New Guinea for 3 days, and I got to experience that whole...
So a free trip in Papua New Guinea?
Yeah, but it's not just that. I got to experience a whole different culture, a whole different everything, because I can hold an oval-shaped ball and run straight into something that they want me to.
Yeah.
And I think for a long time growing up, I didn't think anyone would have paid me money, would have given me those opportunities, and I worked really hard to get them. I played on Suncorp on Grand Final Day for the Queensland Cup. There's so many games that I played in that I'm just like, wow. I played for the Dragons on Anzac Day at the SCG. Like, no, not first grade. I played in the 20s, but it was such a momentous occasion for me as well. Something I hold close to my heart. So
you've played on 2 venues that have played NRL Grand Finals. Have NRL Grand Finals play? Did you ever play at Telstra, the big Olympic Stadium? Oh, there you go.
I played there. I played at every NRL ground. Every single one. I played at every Queensland Cup venue. I've played curtain raisers to NRL games. I've played in all sorts of places and all sorts of times, and with special meanings and special occasions and all sorts of things. And it's to say I'm content is a little bit. It's almost downplaying it. I am proud. I'm extremely proud. And
I guess that this is a bit deep, but you're not emasculated by not having played at the high level. You are comfortable. If you're stood with NRL players or NRL greats, you are comfortable talking about your career, aren't you? You are absolutely. You are respected for that. It's not like you only play Q Cup.
No. I'm 100% comfortable in my own skin, no matter who I'm around, because I know who I am. And I've got no reservations or anything about it. I played football, mate. I played football with James Tedesco.
Yeah.
He's the best player in the world, arguably the best player in the world right now. I played football with a lot of players. I played football with Jack Bird. I played football. There's heaps of players I played football with, and I'm not. Yeah, I'm very comfortable in my own skin around all those guys. It's no skin off my nose. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And you know what? One thing once you hang around a couple of those, some of those guys and play footy with them, one thing is they don't care about any of that sort of stuff either. So.
And I guess to wrap up, mate, like all those things that you did, but even if you didn't achieve that, and even if you only played for your old club in Western Sydney, there, it teaches you so much about life, doesn't it? Rugby league is a metaphor for life.
Yeah.
About not taking shortcuts, about doing your shift for the rest of your team, working as a team. When I moved to Australia, a lot of people say to me that they think I'm quite sharp when it comes to banter. I have no doubt that comes from being a 17-year-old in an open age dressing room at Eccles.
Yeah, it does. That's where
who are you, young gun? And all the banter we used to have all the time anyway, growing up in dressing rooms. So it teaches you so much, and it teaches you the discipline. And I know that even though you and I are probably 5 to 10 kilos heavier than we were 10 years ago, 12 years ago, we still will both have so many of the old habits that Rugby League taught us, be it the amount of times we go to the gym a week, the amount of times we do some cardio. If we do have too much fatty stuff, we then balance it out with some non-fatty stuff.
Yeah.
It's taught us so much, mate, hasn't it?
Oh, well, diet, training, absolutely. But one of the most important things I got out of it was you play a game on Sunday, and then on Monday you have video, and you're accountable for everything you did on that field, and you have to face up and be like, I did that. I need to be better here.
Yeah. You mean not like politicians.
Yeah, not like politicians. Not like so. It's something that I do now. If I'm at work and I do something and it's like, I need to be better here. I need to do that. Yeah. I can take criticism off my peers, my co-workers, my friends, my wife, everyone. I think a lot better because I learned from an early age that your actions, you're held accountable for your actions.
Yeah.
And you can be better.
Yeah.
You just need to accept that and move on.
Yeah.
And like, we did that in bloody 401 block at St. Greg's, mate. It's something that I don't think a lot of people get. The amount of people that you just can't cop criticism. You see it in the work all the time. Can't cop criticism, can't cop that. Where I think that's something that every footballer has. They've got that down pat. That's just, it's not just physical, it's not just health. It's all that stuff as well. It's personality, it's everything.
Yeah. So hopefully in our first episode of the Rugby League Coach podcast, hopefully we've given players a few nuggets to move forward. And I think to summarise, just Chanel Tavita Harris, is that right? Tavita Harris or Harris Tavita Harris? Good luck to you, mate. There is more to life than rugby league. I understand. Taylor understands. Hopefully everyone else understands. He's not crazy. He's not stupid. He's not let anyone down. And there's others out there that probably get some strength from that too. So, mate, thanks so much for hosting this week, mate.
Mate, thanks for having it. And as discussed, there'll be no more Taylor and Lee talk next week. We'll dive a little bit more into
some proper coaches and players.
Well, Coaches Week next week.
Coaches Week next week. So I guess next week I would like to talk about something that pertains to the life of a coach. So what I would like coaches to do is start sending in some questions, some ideas, posting when they see this on social media and on YouTube, or emailing admin at Rugby League Coach, or getting in touch at Rugby League Coach, or on Instagram or Facebook, or I think that's my Twitter thing, my TikTok thing too. And at RL Coach on the net on Twitter. Get in touch and we'll start doing this. And of course I want to do shout outs and everything else. And the other thing we both vowed to do, Taylor, is we're not going to do any editing, are we?
No.
So it's just in one take. Mate, you've got the Queensland League Scene studio behind you. Do you want to just turn it off so everyone can see where you actually really are?
I can do that. Absolutely. Yeah. Choose my virtual background.
Yeah. So that's where he is. So I'm sat in the corner of my living room on my sofa. I could probably do with a little snooze because I stayed up to watch Man City the other day. And I got about an hour and a half sleep because I stayed up to watch City win the title at 1 o'clock kickoff in the evening and probably had a bit too much coffee. So I'm playing catch up there. So I want it to be natural. I want people to engage with us so that they know we're hopefully part of the advice team that can come through their life. And I think I'm well versed because I'm the coach, and I think you're well versed because you're the ex-player who played at the level. And really, really keen to evolve it, mate. And maybe one day we'll do it live on location while we're eating a kebab.
Yeah, we could take our services to that many kebab stores.
Yes.
Why wouldn't they have us? I mean, I'll go through a kebab, and I'm a bit hungry. I might go through 2 tonight. Who knows?
Should we start weighing ourselves every Wednesday? Body fat composition.
I might have the widescreen lens to make sure I get the digits in the screen.
You or I are sacked from the podcast if we don't meet the
sacked.
Yeah. And we'll have to get the odd guest on too. What do you reckon?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We can get the odd guest on. Between us, I think we could get a ragtag crew of players or former players and coaches. And
well, take care, lad.
Too much fun. See you, mate.